Hi everyone, I'm Jo and welcome to my new YouTube channel, Ujima Flip Books. I live in the UK up near Liverpool with my husband Andy, and I generally read crime fiction. Icelandic authors are probably my favourite, but generally anything crime fiction, Nordic noir, thriller is basically my jam. I have a Bookstagram account where I take aesthetically unappealing photos of books and coffee, and now I'm expanding that into BookTube. I thought as a first video I would do the BookTube Newbie tag because it kind of just makes sense, right? Like, I'm a newbie on BookTube, so do the tag. I figure it's the easiest way to let people know a bit about me, and then you can decide if you want to subscribe or if you're like, no thanks, and move along. I do feel like this tag has been around since like the dawn of time, or at least since YouTube existed, but I also don't think there is probably a better way other than me just rambling on, which I will do anyway, answering the questions. So anyway, let's just jump into the newbie tag. Why did you start your channel? So there's a couple of reasons. First of all, I really like making YouTube videos. Like, the entire process of sitting down, recording a video, editing it and putting it onto YouTube is something that I enjoy and something that I do for fun. I've got a couple of other channels on YouTube with my husband Andy, and I just figured combining that hobby with my hobby of reading sort of seemed like a no-brainer. The second reason is, on my Instagram account, one of my friends commented that I should do some book reviews instead of just sort of posting what I'm reading, and I thought that's a really good idea. I should do some reviews. Why not do it on BookTube? And then the third reason is to try and keep myself more accountable. So I used to commute to work and I would spend at a minimum 2 hours a day reading, usually longer because thanks trains, but since the pandemic I now work from home a lot more than I used to, and I still, 3 years into the shift of people's working habits, I haven't really developed a proper work-life balance, and the time that I would use reading to like decompress from work and things, I don't do that anymore. I literally sort of go from get up, work, do all the housework stuff. Like, I don't have that mental time, so I feel like if I have to keep reading things so that I can keep doing videos to do reviews, then I'll get better with that work-life balance slash like not just dropping reading, because I'm somebody that can either like read multiple books in a day or not touch a book for 10 months. Like, I am all or nothing, and I need to be like more consistent, and I think maybe hopefully BookTube will keep me a bit more consistent and a bit more accountable. We'll see. If this is the only video that ever appears, then it didn't work. Question 2. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? So I feel like this is a really hard question to answer because every single person's unique and their experiences in life are unique. So the experiences that they've had at the point that they start reading is unique to them, and so what they take from a book, what they notice in a book, how they react to characters, and even how they picture characters and the surroundings is going to be completely different from the next person. So I feel like everyone brings something unique to BookTube and reading in general. I guess there's a bit of background to me and the experiences I've had that shape how I read. I previously worked as a forensic archaeologist, which means I've seen a lot of skeletons, like maybe like 130 at last count. I've been to postmortems or autopsies if you're in America. I know the sights, sounds and smells that go with death. So I am always possibly more critical of books that I feel that get that wrong than maybe somebody who hasn't had that experience, because I know which bones survive in different types of soil and how generally forensics works. So yeah, I guess, I don't know whether you'd count that as fun, but that is kind of one of the experiences, I guess, that I bring that maybe other people don't have. I mean, I can't say that I've gone out and checked if there's loads of booktubers who used to be forensic archaeologists, but you know, that's as good as I can think of anyway. Question 3, what are you most excited for about this channel? So I guess, first of all, reading more, because as I said, I'm hoping this keeps me accountable, and secondly, just talking to people who read the same genre as me. There aren't a lot of people who, in my friend circle, who read the same as me. My husband is predominantly interested in science fiction books, and that's not something that I generally read, so we don't have a lot of like conversations about books, and I'm hoping that I can by creating content on YouTube, and hopefully people will comment and we can start discussing books. Question 4, why do you love reading? So the short answer is I love the escapism of it. I love that I can pick up a book and be transported to a different time, place, like anything, but I'm still on my sofa, and that is ultimately what I like, is just basically switching my brain off and going somewhere else without actually going anywhere. What book series got you into reading? So there's a few that I feel like I should mention. Basically, my childhood was anything by Roald Dahl and anything by Anne Fine. They were the two biggest authors, I guess. And then as I got a bit older, I was obsessed with the Mallory Towers series by Enid Blyton. Like, going to a boarding school was all I wanted, and it was never going to happen. But I became obsessed with the boarding school life, and would pretend that my cabin bed was a dorm and stuff. And then in terms of getting me into crime reading, I guess it would be the Nancy Drew book series and the Hardy Boys. They were probably my earliest dipping into crime fiction. Question 6. What questions would you ask your favourite booktubers? Confession time. I wouldn't say I have a favourite booktuber. I dipped my toes into various different channels and generally just lurk around watching videos of specific books that I have on my to be read pile, things like that. So I wouldn't say that I have a favourite booktuber, but my go-to question that in work is what I ask as icebreakers, is if you were a coloured crayon, what colour would you be? So I guess that's what I would ask. Question 7. What challenges do you think starting a BookTube channel will be hardest to overcome? So I think maintaining an actual posting schedule and actually sticking to posting and not letting myself get distracted, or just generally not post videos. Although the 47,000 times that I started the introduction to this video would suggest that maybe that'll be the hardest to overcome, because there's only so many ways I can go, "Hi, I'm Joe," and I've done every single one of those ways because everything sounded stupid. So maybe I should say that's the hardest to overcome. Question 8. When did you start reading? I don't know. So I guess I was quite young. My mum has told me a story about being on a flight, and I had a book that was Jumbo the Jet, that I think the age range for that book is 18 months to 3 years, so no, I was fairly young. For whatever reason, the plane got held at the end of the runway, and I was reading my Jumbo book and reading it out loud. My mum didn't realise that Jumbo the Jet in this book has to go and help rescue a plane that's crashed, or that Jumbo crashed, I'm not sure which. And one of the people who were sat near us on the flight had a panic attack and they had to like open the doors at the back of the plane so that she could get some air because, yeah, so very young. Also, opening the doors at the back of a plane whilst the plane's like on the end of the runway is such an 80s vibe. Like, there was clearly no safety standards in the 80s. But yeah, so I guess I was maybe 2 or 3. But I feel like I've always read. I don't know. Question 9, where do you read? So predominantly either on the sofa or in the bath. If I'm going on public transport, I will have a book with me. Yeah, I think they're the main ones. Just generally, if I know that I'm going somewhere where there's a possibility I may have to wait a while, then I will take a book with me so that I can read it. Yeah, I think that's the only places I can think of. I'm not really a reading in bed person. I'll only generally go up to bed when I'm already sort of falling asleep on the sofa. So yeah, sofa, bath, public transport, anywhere where I may need to wait. Question 10, what kind of books do you read? So I answered this one at the start, but crime fiction, thrillers, Nordic noir, Icelandic authors. That generally covers everything. And finally, question 11, what does your book collection look like? So I don't really have a book collection. Generally, I will buy a book, and once I've read it, I will either pass it on to a family member who 9 times out of 10 won't read it, or I will donate it to the charity shop. The only books that I really have like on my bookshelf are language coursework books, Lonely Planet books, and then anything that I have for my day job. So yeah, I don't have a lot of actual books that I collect. I just pass everything on to charity shops. And that is the newbie book tag complete. So I guess that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. If you've liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you've disliked it, give it a thumbs down. It's not going to make any difference to my life, so do whatever you want. If you do want to see more ramblings about books from me, hit the subscribe button down below and you can click the notification bell. I don't think the notification bell works. Give it a click and find out. If you get notified, then it's a bonus. And just, yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you the next time I post. Bye!